This race then. On pole position, we've got number 34, Zach Falk. Alongside, we've got Yuri Vips in cart number 69. On row 2, starting third, number 33, Jack McCarthy. Starting fourth is number 30, Oliver York. On row 3, in fifth position, we've got Louis Ferdinand Simonauer, number 17, and Leonard Hugenboom, number 50. On row 4, Alex Quinn, number 36, and Max Timmermans, number 5, fifth in last year's Euro Challenge. Completing the top 10 on the fifth row of the grid, we've got Harrison Thomas, number 45, starting 9th, and Zianis Slavinsky, number 58, starts 10th. Row 6, Danny Kroos, number 23, and number 16, Jean-Baptiste Simonauer. On row 7, Daniel Luco, number 31, and Hugo Chevalier, number 18. On row 8, Denis de Rouge, number 63, and Scott Simmons, number 57. Row 9, Vincent Marcereau, number 27, and Jonathan Haggard, number 56. On row 10, number 21, Andrew Wong, and number 54, Tom Iedo. On row 11, Tristan Charpentier, number 44, Ivan Nosov, number 52. On row 12, 65, Emmeline Card and Gleb Kuznetsov. And row 13, alone, starting 25th, should be Artemi Kamenok in the number 41 cart. Again, this is going to be a 7-lap race for the juniors. It's dry at the moment. No sign of any spots of rain on the windows of the commentary box, Ken, but you just get the feeling that it's coming pretty soon, isn't it? Hopefully it won't come in the middle of a race, because that's obviously going to be treacherous, as they've all got slick tyres on as they go out in just a moment or two onto the circuit.
Chris, if you look over to your left, we won't have a camera looking way out of there, but that looks a misty distant, and that looks to me like a rain misty distant. However, the flags that are flying are pretty much round from the, shall we say, to the right and the back from where we are, where it's fairly bright. So on that basis, maybe we'll certainly get through to, well, not certainly, maybe get through to lunchtime without an issue.
Fingers crossed. There they go then, leaving drivers. Want to see just stretching their limbs, stretching their muscles as they're released out onto the circuit. That's the view down towards the first turn, going into turn 1 there. Right at the back of the picture, you can see turn 2. This is the run through the left-hander at turn 3. Double apex left-hander through turn 4, the right-hander to the top part of the hill then at turn 5, through turn 6 and 7, and down towards the right-hand hairpin at the left-hand hairpin at turn 9, which you'll see them then coming onto this straight, coming towards us. That straight running directly alongside the start-finish straight, but running the other way around. So Zach Falk, number 34. He's going to be there on the pole position. Yuri Vips, who is a contestant in last year's season of Rotax Euro Challenge, is going to pose a threat. Certainly Tommy Pryning earmarked him as one driver to watch here this weekend, and Yuri has looked pretty quick so far. So Yuri Vips, number 69, from the outside of row number 1, he's going to be one to watch, the Estonian. Now another formation lap, and then halfway around this lap they'll be told to bunch the field up. There you can see the paddock to the right of the picture, the hills in the background. Still a steady breeze blowing those windmills. And you can see we're surrounded by these windmills. There's lots of them around this part of the world, churning out electricity via wind power, not just around this circuit, but on the drive up from Malaga. There are small wind farms all the way up through the hills. And quite a dry landscape, which seems odd to say because it's rained most of the week here, but don't get too much rain in this part of the world. As I described yesterday when I was talking with Ken on the drive up from Malaga, you can almost imagine yourself in a spaghetti western with the big rock-faced mountains and the dry, arid surroundings. So they're being backed up now on the way into the hairpin. And be interested to see this one, Ken, because we've got one or two names we saw quite a few times last year, the likes of Yuri Vips and Max Timmermans, but equally at the front end of the grid, lots of people that are relatively new to this level of racing.
Well, I haven't seen Zach Falk race at this level. I haven't seen Oliver York race more than once at this level. I've not seen Alex Quinn at all, but within that ingredient, you've got Max Timmermans, who we have seen race at this level, and we're both impressed with him, and also Yuri Vips, and Jack McCarthy. So yeah, a good mix of established and newcomers. It's a 7-lap race. Chris calling you the start.
Okay, then out of turn 14 they come, nicely bunched up. Number 34, Zach Falk with the green helmet, red and white suit. He's got the inside line. It's a first-time start. He's got the lead of the race sorted out. Trying to come across from the outside is Yuri Vips with the green helmet. I think he's managed to do that and to fend off Jack McCarthy, who was looking to get at the inside of him. So it's a clean start. Everybody's made it safely through the first corner. So they tick that one off the box. Go up through the kink at turn 2, through turns 3, 4 and 5. Now they begin to climb back uphill to the highest points of the circuit, and now it's a descent downhill into the next right-hander. The top 3 are absolutely nose to tail here. So the race leader is still number 34, Zach Falk, but he hasn't exactly got away from the rest of the field. He runs wide, coming out onto the straight as well, over the curbs, and he's going to gift the place to Yuri Vips. Yuri Vips gets the lead. Jack McCarthy follows him through, and down to 3rd place with that mistake then comes Zach Falk. So I think he just took a little bit too much speed through the corner. He just understeered through that hairpin at turn 9 and took the curbs on the way out of the corner and just opened up the door then for the Estonian Yuri Vips to come through into the lead of the race. And Jack McCarthy said, thanks very much, I'll take that. That's a nice easy move. He followed through to get second. Jack with the blue helmet's gone very, very well here this weekend. And so the pole sitter finds himself down in 3rd place and under attack now from Oliver York. Number 30, Oliver having a look to pull out of the slipstream as they came under the start gantry, but he remains in 4th place for the time being, and increasingly under pressure from Leonard Hugenboom, who's made up a position or two up into 5th place for Leonard Hugenboom. Max Timmermans completing the top 6 at the end of the first lap, Ken.
Yeah, I think what we were saying just as they rolled round, Chris, about the mix of inexperience and experience. Zach Falk not experienced at this level, and I wonder if it was just a bridge too far coming down the hill, the late braking, because Yuri Vips and Jack McCarthy both a lot more experienced at this level, and they made that count. And Zach Falk now also finding that it's not too easy to hold on to that place in 3rd place that he's got, because Oliver York putting on the pressure. Also Leonard Hugenboom in front of Max Timmermans, and the driver whose name is a bit of a mouthful, Louis Ferdinand Simonauer, also caught my eye on that lap. He's moved up to 7th. Alex Quinn actually dropped to 8th when he had been a little bit higher. So coming round to start the next lap, Yuri Vips leading from Jack McCarthy.
Looks like a move there from Leonard Hugenboom. He's got through. Good move at the end of the start-finish straight. Leonard in the number 50 kart getting ahead of Oliver York for 4th place. And Oliver now getting sucked back into that pack. Yuri Vips and Jack McCarthy remain 1st and 2nd in this race. They're just going, sad to say, past the stricken number 45 kart of Harrison Thomas, who came to grief on the first lap up at the top of the hill. So the Welsh driver, he finished 4th in the Super 1 British Championship at mini-max level last year, has not made it very far into the race. But Harrison, we know, went very quickly in qualifying, so hopefully he'll have a better run next time out. But he's having to sit this one out, can't get the kart started back up, and he's having to watch everybody else here, I'm afraid, for the remainder of the race. The top 2 have broken away now. They have about a 6 kart length advantage over 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th and 8th, who are all together. As you can see, they're running through the hairpin, coming into the left-right section at the end of the lap now. Jack McCarthy's got a good run here. Jack McCarthy's on a good lap. He's about to pick up a tone. There could be a challenge for the lead of the race into turn 1. He has a luck, but he can't quite find a way through. But he almost pulled alongside as it came under the gantry. He just didn't quite have the top end speed to be able to pull off the move though, and he tucked back in behind and remains in 2nd place. Zach Falk is back there in 3rd position, leading that 2nd group of karts, with Leonard Hugenboom 4th, but Max Timmermans now, who's moved ahead of Oliver York as well. So Oliver losing another place on that lap, down to 6th. Alex Quinn is 7th. Louis Ferdinand Simonauer is 8th. The French driver, Hugo Chevalier, another French driver, in 9th. And Danny Crowe's rounding out the top 10 at the moment, the Dutch driver, as Jack McCarthy starts to apply a bit more pressure now. He's winding things up here and starting to have a look at gaps, isn't he, Ken, to find the lead of the race?
I actually thought he was going to try to make a feint move to try to get a false move from, and a little bit of a nudge there. That was no doubt accidental. So yes, I think Jack McCarthy is thinking in terms of finding a route past. We're coming round now then to see that there are 3 remaining. Oh, and a black flag. And we've got one of our drivers thrown out, kart number 44. It's Tristan Charpentier. It's not one of our front runners. Having just made a reference to a little bit of nudging, I was certainly wanting it not to disturb this fabulous race at the front. Really is a fabulous dice, and at this stage you wouldn't want to call it, would you? Because you feel that Jack McCarthy has got it in him to get past Juri Vips, but that wouldn't be to write off Juri Vips if he did lose the lead.
No, Zach Falk falling back on that lap as well. Got a bit balked there, and Leonard Hugenboom and Max Timmermans both passed him. So from third down to fifth place has gone Zach Falk in the number 34 car. Remember, he started the race from pole position, but he's still in the mix. I think third and fourth might be beginning to catch the leaders at the start of this lap.
And Chris, can I just cut in and tell you there's the first few spots of rain.
Oh dear, right. So we'll see how that starts to affect the lap times, these slick tyres. Jack McCarthy still hanging on to the race leader, Juri Vips, but I think under awareness that he's been caught as well. We can hear the raindrops coming on the tin roof of the race control building now as well. So it's going to start to get a little bit slippery out there. The drivers will have to take care and be a little bit cautious, but you can't back off too much because you know you'll lose a fistful of places if you do that. So it's a very tricky. You can see the race leader is sliding around now, understeering as he goes up through turns 3 and 4. Jack McCarthy runs wide coming out of the turn and loses 2 places. So Hugenboom and Timmermans both get past McCarthy. McCarthy fights back and gets a position back. So he's gone from second to fourth.
Big twitch from the leader as well, Chris.
Yeah, and back to fourth again. The marshals are holding out the red and yellow striped flags, which tells the drivers there's a slippery surface. I think they might know that by now, though. Jack McCarthy, as one driver runs wide, another one gets past, and then it sort of alternates on the next lap. But it's Juri Vips, Max Timmermans, the top two. Jack McCarthy's third for the time being. Fourth is Max Timmermans. Fourth is Leonard Hugenboom. They keep swapping positions. And up then into fifth place is Louis Ferdinand Simonauer in the green race suit. But the drivers now are turning the steering wheels into these hairpins and nothing's happening. They're massively understeering as the front tyres slide around as the rain gets heavier and heavier. And it's going to get very treacherous out there now, but we're coming up to towards the latter stages of the race. And they're going to be able to make it through. Certainly good driving this from Juri Vips. He's pulling away. No grip at all. But he's pulling away from Max Timmermans. All over the shop is Leonard Hugenboom in third place, number 50, as he tries to get on the accelerator coming onto the start. Finish straight. And he runs wide. Hugenboom runs wide. Jack McCarthy gets through. Also going wide there was Max Timmermans. They've both gone through the gravel. So Timmermans and Hugenboom from second and third understeer off into the gravel. They've both rejoined in the middle of the pack, and it means that Jack McCarthy was able to go from fourth to second just because he was able to get through the corner. So,
Chris, can I just pick up on that? I'm not apportioning blame at all, but there was contact. It was tricky enough to stay on the tarmac without contact. When the contact came, it was impossible, and both of those drivers, battling between second and third, paid a big price.
And luckily, we're on the last lap of the race because it's absolutely throwing it down now. Alex Quinn's made good progress while this weather's been moving away. He was fifth at the start of the lap. I think he's probably up into third place now. Let's have a look as they come past the commentary. Oh, Jack McCarthy's run wide now, coming into turn 9, so he's going to lose places. So back up to second comes Alex Quinn now in second position. Then we've got Hugo Chevalier, who's come up into third place by the looks of it. But almost every corner it's changing as they slide around. In fourth place then we've got Louis Ferdinand Simonauer. The French drivers are making progress here. Jack McCarthy's stayed on the road in fifth place, so he's back up there in fifth position. I think somebody else that might have dropped down the order, I'm afraid. I think he has dropped down the order. Is Zach Falk. Yeah, he's down in 12th at the start of the lap as another one runs wide there. Second, third, fourth and fifth all run wide with two corners together, all over the gravel. The only one that's staying on the track is Juri Vips, so it's going to be changed for second. The flag's about to come out as Juri Vips takes the checkered flag, but who's going to be in second place? And the answer is it's going to be number 36, Alex Quinn, keeping his cool, taking second place as everybody else slid off the road. Hugo Chevalier ran wide but was able to hang on to third position. Louis Ferdinand Simonauer stayed fourth. Jean-Baptiste Simonauer comes through to fifth place in the number 16 cart. He picked up loads of places on the last lap. Max Timmermans recovered to sixth. Oliver York was seventh, and Jack McCarthy, who was second, with a lap or so to go, ended up down in eighth place from Danny Crows and Scott Simmons. But that was treacherous stuff out there for the last lap. And had there been more laps to run, I think they'd have probably stopped that one. But because it only really started to throw it down on the last lap of the race, then they were able to just about get the full race distance in. So,
well, Chris, can I just pick up on the point you've just made? I agree with you. and I agreed at the time with the call by the officials. There was about 1 1/3 laps remaining, and it did seem right to go the full race distance.
Yeah.
However, what a huge difference it made with those drivers from good positions going out. Let's just have a quick peep at the guys who fell away. Zach Fulk, who started on pole, finishing 13 and was probably grateful to have finished 13th in the end. Leonard Hugenboom, who was involved in that little incident, out of the top 10 at 11th place. However, as you said, as you called them to the line, Juri Vips was the guy who knew how to keep the traction and knew how to keep the kart between the lines.
It was a fantastic piece of kart control from Juri Vips, who won the race by 4.6 seconds, aided and abetted by the fact that on the last lap, everybody behind him just couldn't keep it on the road and went off through the gravel, either 2 wheels through the gravel or 4 wheels through the gravel. So there's the result. Juri Vips wins for Strawberry Racing. Great kart control as well from Alex Quinn to come through to second for Coles Racing. Hugo Chevalier completes the top 3. Louis Ferdinand Simonauer and Jean-Baptiste Simonauer, the two brothers, 4th and 5th. Max Timmermans recovered to 6th. Oliver York, Jack McCarthy, Danny Kroos and Scott Simmons completed the top 10. As Ken said there, you can see Zach Fulk from pole dropping down to 13th place there. Leonard Hugenboom, another one to drop back after an excursion. And there the results. So the ones that didn't make it to the finish were Jonathan Hoggard for Pro Train, who dropped out with a couple of laps to go. Harrison Thomas dropped off early on, and disqualified from the race was Tristan Charpentier. Up next then, we're going to see the seniors back on track.